Hello and welcome back for match 3 with Rug versus Miracles. Last match we changed our deck pretty drastically, adding stifles and cutting down on the number of creature antagonistic cards in the deck to see how well we could do against Miracles. The answer was quite well. And so now we're going to try and find a bit of a happy medium between very combo and Miracles antagonistic and something with True Name Nemesis and 3 Chain Lightnings in the main deck. So what we're looking at is no more Pithing Needle, not quite as good with Stifle, but a Rough Tumble and a Grim Lavamancer to make up for the fact that the main deck is going to be weaker against creature decks. One of the Chain Lightnings came back, one of the Force of Wills moved to the sideboard. All of these just ways to sort of move the main deck back toward something that could reasonably beat a creature deck in a game 1. And then fewer cards to board in, so we're not cutting stuff like Gitaxian Probe or whatever else. I do really like only having 3 Wastelands against Miracles. I haven't really been interested in drawing multiples in any of the games. So to our hand, it's a Delver Stifle hand with 1 land we're going to keep. Obviously, you play Delver on 1. Just Delver Daze Stifle is so good. It's just so good. And winning the die roll, so crucial. Just being able to Daze Sensei's Divining Top is so nice. Also, can we please... Oh, there we go. Lady, look at that. There was a thing that I had missed. It's kind of cute. Just, you can... There we go. Cool. We would not like to reveal this card. We would like to attack with our Fugitive Wizard. Oh, come on, man. Don't do this. I swear to God, I'm going to stifle his land if he leaves Terminus on top. He is not going to know it hit. Man, I was kind of rooting for Terminus. Because then, like, you know. But no. I would like to reveal Chain Lightning. I got more Delvers, man. I got Delvers for days. Also got 9 points of burn. Please don't have a counterbalance. Please do not have a counterbalance. Also, Stifle and Chain Lightning just go together. It's hard to articulate this well, just because of how much Rug Delver I've played in my lifetime, but in versions of Rug Delver that have Stifle, I think that Chain Lightning is best. Because you are just so much more often interested in nugging them out that it's better than yes. It's better than Forked Bolt by like quite a bit. Happily. Yep, spell pierce that all day. I assume Jace bounce the Delver. Council's Judgment. Well, that is certainly one way to cut the tempo of the situation. Upstairs. So, he takes Jace up, which is smart if he thinks that we only have one more burn spell, but we have two. And now we're not really interested in showing him that we have two. We are interested in showing him that we have one. Do not wish to redirect. Well, this makes enough angels to kill us in a few turns, so we're going to stifle this one. And I understand that, you know, he gets to put it back, but given the situation, I assume he has Force of Will and is trying to figure out whether or not to counter it. Yeah. Well, time to wasteland his land and see what happens. He allows it, probably entreats for 16 power, and then, yeah. Ah, he's playing around Spell Pierce. So he Fate Seals us. Leaves it on top. So we get attacked for 8 3 times. More entreat the angels. And we lose. Okay. Well, Sometimes you draw all burn spells. Well, actually, sorry. I shouldn't have played the Ponder the turn that I did. That was my mistake, and I got punished for that. I should have been holding up Stifle. So, let this be a lesson to you. Sometimes your Ponders are not free. And, like, obviously cantripping into a land and holding up Stifle is nice, but if they have Spell Pierce and then something to do, then it's really bad for you. So, given all of that, we now have 6 easy cuts. And so we still want the Sylvans, we still want the Grips, the Force and the Pyroblasts, and we cut the 6 red cards and the Wasteland, and this is our deck. So, a more balanced strategy, certainly, than last match where we just had an embarrassment of riches. So, Delver Days Stifle on the play again, this time with 1 more land, so presumably this should go about as well as last time, perhaps even better. So I think we want a Trop this time, because we're going to want to, like, if we draw a red card, then we want to fetch and cast it. And we're more likely to want to cantrip, play a land, and then have Pyroblast available. God, Dazing Top is just like the most unreal. We would not like to reveal this card. We just get to jam the board because if he Natural Miracles Terminus, then we get to daze it. And if he has Plow, then obviously we'd like to have another threat in play. So yeah, this is very much a protect the Delvers sort of game. We would like to reveal Brainstorm. Thank you. So, no real reason to cast Ponder here. We get to Stifle, and had our opponent pierced, then we would have been able to Brainstorm for a Force or a second Daze. Whereas if we Ponder, we don't really know what we want, because we don't know if we're getting Terminus or what. Whereas now, we know exactly what's up. Huh. So we could reload with Goose Goose. I don't think we want the extra land. I do think we want another Nimble Mongoose. So he's obviously brainstorming his Terminus back again. So we're going to get him to 6. So we get to ponder. We find Sylvan, which actually isn't bad. So we basically get to draw 4 free cards off of Sylvan. And like we have these 2 threats, so I'm inclined to keep. Obviously our opponent terminuses, and that all happens. So we cast Sylvan. It'll be interesting to see if our opponent put a 2 on top. I would expect them to put a 1 on top. Ooh. A land. Well, we can certainly work with land on top. So, Council's Judgment, taking down the Mongoose. We would like to use Sylvan Library's ability. We're just going to keep both. So we've got land, instant, sorcery, artifact, yeah, enchantment, 5/6. Our opponent reveals Terminus. Alright. Well, let's cast Brainstorm and see if we can hit Force of Will. We don't, which sucks. Ooh, we shouldn't have put back the second land. I didn't know that we still had a land drop to make. Although I actually kind of favor our hand. But given that we knew Terminus was on top, so Caracas shows up, counterbalance down, and with 2 Terminuses gone, I think we just play out our creatures and try and get them dead. Obviously 9 plus fetch land isn't great with Sylvan Library in play, but what can you do? Tropical Island entered the revealed zone. I would not like to reveal this. I would like to use Sylvan Library's ability. And I will put that on top and pay 4 life to keep that in my hand. Guess what I drew, Jarvis? It's Force of Will. Can I make this more obvious? I probably could, but... So, Sylvan Library shows its incredible value there. That's basically exactly what you want it to do. Just draw 2 spells and then draw a third at a point where you know exactly what you want. And so you just pay 12 life and green 1 for an Ancestral split up into bite-sized pieces. So, as you can see, Rug is capable of hanging with miracles going long. There's a lot of back and forth. And so you have to think not just about blowing them out, you have to think about how am I going to pace my play so that, you know, they have Terminus, I can reload with these Mongeese, I draw Tarmogoyf, I play just that, and, you know, just like punch, counterpunch sort of thing. And one of the hazards of this whole matchup is that sometimes they like draw Jace and cast it in a window where they can actually resolve it and it won't die to creatures in play. And that's a really big problem because the way that you sideboard, you cut all of your bolts because you aren't willing to fight that scenario when it means drawing Lightning Bolt, you know, the 90% of the time where it's just a lava spike, right? It's like really bad in basically all situations except for exactly Jace in play and on 3 mana, which is like such a small amount of the time. It really is. So they're trying to, you know, sweep the board, you're trying to reload, and you just have to counter their Jace if and when they draw it. That's sort of the beginning and end of it. So I like this setup. I think that Crows and Grips are actually quite good. Specifically against what Jarvis, who has been my worthy opponent, has been doing all match. And so being able to sort of see and adapt to that, but also build your deck to anticipate those situations is important. So no play on turn 1. And indeed no white mana on turn 1. So am I to expect something on turn 2, a counterbalance? Nothing on turn 2. I would like to reveal this. So we're going to play our fetch land. We have our Brainstorm, obviously. I'm not really interested in playing Tarmogoyf here. I'd rather wait a turn and be able to spell pierce whatever our opponent is doing. And if our opponent just passes back again, then that's also fine. So we're interested in shuffling away these 2 lands. And we're very interested in forcing this Swords to Plowshares. So we're down a card, but I think it's fine. We have Pierce available, and we have a good amount of dig available next turn between Delver of Secrets, looking at a card, and being able to shuffle with Polluted Delta if we don't like it, plus Ponder to try and find whatever it is that we're looking for. But yeah, this just stinks of Terminus. We would like to reveal Brainstorm. Would we like to draw Brainstorm? No, okay, drawing Brainstorm. I can't imagine a second plow here if Terminus is coming. So I think we'll start with a Ponder. See what we see. Bunch of Tarmogoyfs, which could be okay. If we're expecting Terminus, then it's not the worst thing in the world. But we do open ourselves up to Rest in Peace, which is not great. I think we're going to shuffle this one. Okay, so let's make sure we haven't played a land this turn. We have not played a land, so we're going to put back Wasteland Tarmogoyf. Blow up our opponent's Tundra. And try to pierce their Terminus. Yeah, there was just too little going on to really be anything but that. So we tap them out. We have an unknown card on top of our deck, but I don't know. I like our spot. Like, we're pretty low on ammo. The decision to keep Pyroblast over Tarmogoyf might actually cost us. Like, pacing your threats is actually just a really big deal. However, getting your opponent to 1, also a big deal. No Terminus. Humility doesn't do anything. Ensnaring Bridge doesn't seem like a card he would play. Okay, cool. So that is also a pretty good way to beat Miracles. I'll be right back.